who'd come running at the sounds of distress. "See what's happened to her eyes. They will kill her for this." Alizeh rubbed her eyes now and coughed. Surely she'd been too young to remember the precise words her parents had spoken. No doubt Alizeh's was a memory merely of a story, oft repeated, one so thoroughly worn into her mind, she only imagined she could recall her mother's voice. She swallowed. Soot had stuck in her throat. Her fingers had gone numb. Exhausted, she exhaled her worries into the hearth, the action disturbing to life another flurry of soot. Alizeh coughed for the second time then, this time so hard she stabbed the stitching needle into her small finger. She absorbed the shock of pain with preternatural calm, carefully dislodging the bit before inspecting the injury. The puncture was deep. Slowly, almost one at a time, her fingers closed around the gown still clutched in her hand, the finest silk stanching the trickle of her blood. After a few moments, during which she stared blankly up into the chimney for the 16th time that night, she released the gown, cut the thread with her teeth, and tossed the gem-encrusted novelty onto a nearby chair. Never fear. Alizeh knew her blood would not stain. Still, it was a good excuse to cede defeat, to set aside the gown. She appraised it now, sprawled as it was across the seat. The bodice had collapsed, bowing over the skirt much like a child might slump in a chair. Silk pooled around the wooden legs, beadwork catching the light. A weak breeze rattled a poorly latched window, and a single candle blew out, taking with it the remaining composure of the commission. The gown slid farther down the chair, one heavy sleeve releasing itself with a hush, its glittering cuff grazing the sooty floor. Alizeh sighed. This gown, like all the others, was far from beautiful. She thought the design trite, the construction only passably good. She dreamed of unleashing her mind, of freeing her hands to create without hesitation. But the roar of Alizeh's imagination was quieted, always, by an unfortunate need for self-preservation. It was only during her grandmother's lifetime that the fire accords had been established, unprecedented peace agreements that allowed Jinn and humans to mix freely for the first time in nearly a millennia. Though superficially identical, Jinn bodies had been forged from the essence of fire, imbuing in them certain physical advantages, while humans, whose beginnings were established in dirt and water, had long been labeled clay. Jinn had conceded to the establishment of the accords with a variegated relief, for the two races had been locked in bloodshed for eons, and though the enmity between them remained unresolved, all had tired of death. The streets had been gilded with liquid sun to usher in the era of this tenuous peacetime, the Empire's flag and coin reimagined in triumph. Every royal article was stamped with the maxim of a new age. Maas. May equality reign always supreme. Equality, as it turned out, had meant Jinn were to lower themselves to the weakness of humans, denying at all times the inherent powers of their race, the speed and strength and elective evanescence born unto their bodies. They were to cease at once what the king had declared such supernatural operations, or face certain death, and clay, who had exposed themselves as an insecure sort of creature, were only too willing to cry cheat, no matter the context. Alizeh could still hear the screams, the riots in the streets. She stared now at the mediocre gown. Always she struggled not to design an article too exquisite, for extraordinary work came under harsher scrutiny, and was only too quickly denounced as the result of a preternatural trick.